Welcome into another episode of First to the Floor. Ben Vallis here. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. The city of Boston held what looked to be maybe the best parade of all time yesterday. Absolute scenes out there in downtown Boston. We're going to recap the best parts of the parade and get to how some of the biggest Celtics haters are reacting to the championship. Joining me for all of that and more, it's one Jake Eisenberg. Jake, how we doing, man?
I'm happy to be here, Ben. Happy to be here, Ben. It's, man, it just keeps getting better. Like, I can only imagine how good the fellas are feeling, man. Like, if this is how, like, my existence has been going from, like, the elation of the game into the celebration, into, like, the whatever, and then now we get the parade, it's just, like, waves. You're not necessarily over or beginning again. It's just waves of elation and joy and glory. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I was like, is the championship going to happen? This is after like game 3, and I'm still going to like not be as happy as I thought I would one day be if they won it. Like, am I going to be too caught up in my old life and my job and all the things, you know, keeping me down to be truly happy? And the answer is no. I've never been this happy in my entire life. It's so good. Like, how are you settling down? Are you still vibing, or are you starting to wind down? Is there like a piece of content, for example, that you've been really like clinging on to since this all went down?
You know, I really like today was one of my favorite days, and I think it was because of like all of the parade content that came through, and like just before we hopped on, like I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I've missed like some like stuff. I need, and everyone in the Discord and on Twitter has done a great job of sharing everything.
Yeah.
But I feel like I need to like start a new thread where everyone can just like dump there. That's a great question. Like, what's everyone's favorite thing that they've consumed? But like just now before we hopped on, I just watched like the 45-minute finals specific documentary that the NBA put together with Jamal Crawford narrating, all the like really great behind the scenes stuff, and like that just got all the feels going. I wasn't even gonna have a drink for this pod, but then I was like, championship parade. I'm watching this documentary. I'm back on top of the world again. So I poured myself a drink. My favorite moment from that doc, game 3, Celtics, you know, they go up 21 and then it gets down to a 2-point game with, you know, however long go. And they cut to the huddle. And Joe Mazzulla says, we have to have the ultimate trust right now. We're getting great shots. And it's just like, I'm watching it with my wife and she's like, man, that's really impressive to say the right thing in the heat of battle. I'm like, yeah, man, it's Joe Mazzulla. He knows what to say in the heat of war.
It's important to smile during war or whatever he said. That's right. Yeah, I've gotten into watching highlights from the regular season, and it's really something. I highly recommend it because now everything is, you know, like championship effort. Xavier Tillman, game winner against Sacramento in late March. That's a championship play. KP clutch threes in the season opener against the Knicks. That's championship play, baby. Oh, you beat the Lakers on the home floor on Christmas Day? Guess what? That's title talk, baby. And it all hits different and like much, much better when you know how well the story ends. So no matter how you slice it, no matter what you go back and choose to consume, it's all like it's all towards the journey of a championship, and it all is amazing.
2 more Dallas W's if you want them. Go back to the regular season. 2 more dominant wins against Dallas. 6-1. The Minnesota overtime W at home. Like Tatum had 45 points. Like, it's a great call, actually. I actually haven't watched Game 5 again yet. I've just been bathing in the glory of the content that's been put out, and it's been hard. I think because I really want to like make sure I've got like proper attention, like the full. So I want to say, I'm like, maybe tomorrow's the day for the Game 5 rewatch, because watching that doc just now, like I feel like Tatum was just so good in that game. Like the whole team was really like Jalen's defense, but Tatum, like to have that game, all the and ones, the big like 3-pointer over Luka at the end of the half, like just a great Tatum game, and obviously. You know, they won the fucking title.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was a great series. Great year, in fact. My elation is like starting to crest into the understanding the legacies, and like after watching the parade today, which we'll get to in a second, the fact that like Jalen and Tatum and even like Luke Cornett will forever be accepted in Boston like the 08 guys. And like Eddie House, who hasn't been that prominent in the NBA world, for example, since 2008. Whenever he comes back to Boston, he's like celebrated like royalty. And all of these guys are like immortalized in that same sense now. It's amazing.
Eddie House is a Massachusetts treasure, dude. Like, speaking of favorite pieces of content, him and Scal did like interviews with all the players on the court after the game, and Scal was like good, but Eddie House is just like, hey Jalen, can I get a sip of the champagne? He pretends to have a sip. He's asking Derek about his like face, and it's like all of a sudden it's like bing bang boom, you hit the ground, you're back up. And he's the best, and I hope like seems to be becoming more and more prominent on NBC Sports Boston. I hope I think he'd be a great person to add for the booth. I got distracted by Thai coffee in the chat hands.
Thank you.
Summer League, beers on me. What a legend in the chat here. You're amazing. But yeah, like Eddie House, national treasure. You can't like. You can take me anywhere. Take me anywhere. I'm a happy man.
We're having a good time.
Yeah.
So the city of Boston, they fired up the duck boats yesterday. And Jake, I want to know, how did this measure up to your expectations of what the parade might be like? Because to me, it was genuinely breathtaking. I've obviously seen all the highlights of the 2008 duck boat parade and subsequently Patriots and Red Sox duck boat parades. But I don't think I could ever have imagined how well and how epically the city of Boston would have turned out. And I had it on the TV while my family and I were just like hanging out, getting ready for the day this morning. And like even my 3-year-old daughter was like kind of taken away by the sight. It was truly a sight to behold. Did it like well and truly exceed your expectations?
Oh, absolutely. And just to want to address this comment in the chat from Dave, like it's 6:30 in the morning in the east coast of Australia, so that's partly why the chats are slightly less popular. We got the Aussie crew in the chat though. I see you all out here, early risers and Aussie in the chat. But yeah, man, it exceeded my expectations. So like, I was a bigger football fan than basketball fan, kinda, up until like the IT year, and that's like when I really got pulled back into like flipping the other way and really living and dying with the draft picks of James Young and Terry Rozier and Gashwan Yabusele. And like, even when I was following the Patriots like a diehard, I don't really have any memories of like really diving into the parade stuff. The amount of time and effort and mental energy that I've poured in and that we've poured into the Boston Celtics over the Jays era is incomparable to what I was doing like for the Patriots. So I was like really hyped for the parade, and it massively exceeded my expectations. I don't know, man. I don't know exactly what I was expecting, but it was so awesome. Like, because I didn't get up at 1 a.m. to watch the parade because I work in the morning, but I woke up at like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. and I just injected all of the parade content directly into my bloodstream. Yes. And it was so much better than I could have imagined.
Yeah, we got a bunch of clips here that we intend to run on this show. We just want to like roll through some of the best moments. Some of these come from folks in our Discord. We set up like a parade specific channel, and guys and gals and everyone shared content in that channel. Thank you for everyone who did that. And I've scrolled through Twitter, Reddit, and grabbed all the best stuff aside from just sitting there and watching the whole thing in its totality. And we intend to make at least that portion of the show coming up a bit of a clip show. But to me, just the pure joy and elation of everyone's faces, like everyone, players, families, their friends on the duck boats with them, everyone in the crowd, and just how unrelenting the cheers were. Like you could excuse yourself for thinking that they were edited in to be a continual cheer, but the entire city of Boston, the entire million or so people that were there were screaming for the entire duration of the parade, which was fucking awesome. And I need to say that I felt really connected to the city and the fans, like watching this, like being a fan from so far away. Sometimes you're in a constant state of FOMO. And like, as a side note, that's by far the best thing about doing this podcast is like, I feel connected to the Celtics and other Celtics fans and you guys and listeners of the show just by way of doing this. But watching the parade, like I had a fucking parade inside my body since the second they won the thing, and then to see a minimum of 1 million people all going crazy for hours, I was like, that's the ultimate physical manifestation of how we all feel. And to sit there and to see like 1 million of me, essentially, in terms of people acting the way I feel, all doing the same thing at once, embodying our feelings of how good it feels for the Celtics to win this thing. It was just amazing. So I feel like I'm going to watch that thing again tomorrow, man. It was awesome.
That was a really good point. and something that you tweeted as well, and I felt the exact same thing. And like doing the podcast and creating the Discord in particular, like if you're a fan of this show and you're not in there, like even if you don't want to contribute and like message, like it's such a great place to be because you've got people from everywhere that are talking about it. But today especially, I was very grateful to have it and the people in there because we were getting like boots on the ground videos, selfies of like people at the parade, people on the way to parade. Like, oh, is it busy yet? Is it not busy yet? Oh, it's crazy busy. I think I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it was Stone in the chat was like, I just saw Sam Hauser puke. And then we get the fucking video like that goes viral later, but we already knew that it had happened because of the Discord. So I felt
Intel.
Absolutely like that we had an inside scoop on the parade, which was absolutely incredible.
So in no particular order, and I did not strip the audio from these clips, so we're just going to have to play them and watch/listen to them, which is definitely not a bad thing. But let's start with Joe Mazzulla going crazy on the roof of a duck boat going through fucking downtown Boston. Probably one of many clips out there. I love the candidness of all the guys, like in their celebrations. It's amazing.
He I think was maybe my MVP of the parade. And what like some Muzz in the chat just before. What happened to the meniscus tear, dude? Like this dude is jumping on duck boats, jumping off dunk boats, out of windows. Man, he's awesome, dude. He's awesome. He's a psycho, and I love how he's just clearly jacked. And he's like jumping up. I can see bicep veins popping out all over the place. He it felt like today was like the one time he's allowed himself to like fully go like fan I'm happy mode, which he hasn't really, from my perspective, I haven't seen that version of him really.
Yeah, it's whatever his equivalent of me like taking time off work and like deleting Slack or emails from my phone. He's mentally done that as well, finally. And if anyone needs to do that, it's fucking Joe Mazzulla. We've got Luke Cornett memeing, reenacting all of the popular Luke Cornett memes from the season. You just saw the multi-dab and the Cornish game man.
That's the Stromile Swift. The Stromile
That's right.
Swift.
That's right.
The Stromile Swift dunk celebration, the dab celebration, which I love that he still does. I crack that out every once in a while. I forget that we're a similar age as me and Cornett. He seems so old.
Yeah, he does. He's an old soul.
He is. He's a lot of dad energy. Beautiful. Loved all of the Cornett stuff.
I loved Kristaps Porzingis got friend of the show Green Runs Deep, whose name I think is Corey, onto one of the duck boats here as well. From what I understand, that was somewhat divisive with like the Celtics staff. They didn't want KP to get him on. I don't know the story, but I know that KP is an absolute legend and got our guy Green Runs Deep on one of the duck boats. And if there's any person who's like not on the team that deserves to be on one of those things, it's fucking Green Runs Deep. So that was cool. He
is in every piece of content. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like every video I watch that's got like Celtics fans in it, he is like in it. So yeah, man, and that's friend of the pod. He's been on. He's been on. He's
friend of many people. He's just like genuinely one of the best people out there. He's such a nice guy and a good person. To see him have his moment there was really cool. What else we got here? As far as best moments from the parade, Jesus, my words completely lose me. Pierce, Eddie House, Scal with the 08 trophy, like just multiple Larry O'B's in one parade, man. I don't know what else stood out to you from this parade.
Well, what I loved most, I thought about this parade that struck me was like you got Mike Gorman. We got a picture of Mike Gorman with a golden champagne bottle pressed against his lips. Abby Chin on the duck boat. Woman of the people. I mean, that's what I love. Is it's like it does not matter. Obviously, we're celebrating the Jays and Kristaps and Derek and Drew and Al, like all the players we love. Obviously, we're celebrating these guys, but how much the city of Boston loves Mike Gorman, Abby Chin, Nick Sang. Like it doesn't matter if you're the superstar or you're a ball boy. if you like bleed green, you bleed green, and everybody loves you. So like that's like what I loved, was how much love everybody was showing to Abby and Mike Gorman, all the people that like are around the team, and everybody knows Nick Sang. Everybody knows Nick Sang.
Yeah.
What's the? There's another trainer that used to be on the Celtics. Something Mr. Like was his name Wu? I think his
I know
last
who you
name was
mean.
Wu.
He's like a shorter guy.
Yeah, shorter guy, and there's like a meme being like, I don't care about meeting Brad Pitt, but then I get introduced to the Celtics strength and conditioning head coach, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And that's what it's like in Boston, and that's what it was like today at the parade.
Yeah, totally. We got some iconic photos as well. This is like part of the basis of the thumbnail for this show. But like Jason Tatum, we had Jaylen Brown as well, just hoisting the Larry B, confetti, champagne everywhere. We had Jason Tatum on Instagram, Boston, I love you.
That one got me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because that's what you want. Like you give so much love and time to these guys, and you get a little bit back, and be like off the court, and it just means everything.
Look, man, if you don't like, and this is like going back to the "we did it" thing that Jason Tatum's been made fun of for, but like we did it, and like part of like why we needed and we felt so much like, oh my god, we finally did it, was like, what if we don't do it, man? Jason Tatum might not spend the next 8 years here if they don't win the title in the next 3 years. He might just eventually be like, how many times can we go through this thing and like not get it done? And for all of the love and like all of the energy that everyone's been giving players to fans to players to finally get it, and for him to like just it's just simple, man. Boston, I love you. Like everything that he's ever wanted, everything that we've ever wanted as fans. That one like really got me. I was like, oh my god, it got me in the feels.
Absolutely, same. I've had many tear-jerking moments, as we all have since they won the thing on June 17th, and it hasn't stopped. A couple of shout-outs to our Discord here. This is from Guy in the Discord, a photo they took of Brad Stevens, and a lot of people who look like Brad Stevens, so presumably related to, especially that guy on his right, drinking a beer that's just like modified Brad.
Tall Brad.
Beer drinking Brad. And then from Cruz Brother, a great shot of Jaylen Brown with the State Your Sauce t-shirt and Pags, I think on his left as well, which is very cool. Other things that stood out. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you ever figure out what that thing on around his neck is? Is it a fan? I saw people online saying it's a fan. That doesn't look like a fan to me.
I heard it was a bit of a I heard some people describing it as, and this is not me, this is not my description, but like snake oil, like a magnetic, like, you know, those magnetic bracelets people used to wear, like essentially that, but for around one's neck. Same.
That's what I thought. It's like a crystal energy shifting type device. That's my guess. He's got it on.
You just won the NBA championship. So
it's working.
Like, keep wearing it. Yeah. Send me one, please. Cowboy hat, Al Horford.
Oh my God. No one's looked better wearing a cowboy hat than Al Horford in the history of mankind.
Is he leaning into the dad mode with that look as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Why is Al Horford wearing a cowboy hat?
Yeah.
And where do we get an Al Horford cowboy hat? That's the big question. Like,
Great.
Can we get those on the NBA store?
No, I'm just now clicking order and confirm checkout on my own cowboy hat order. Derek White and his dad, speaking of dads, amazing. Richard White, just like cruising on the duck boat together. The like Celtics best tweeter and the Celtics best guard defender, maybe. Shout out Drew Holiday as well on the duck boat together. Yes. The Jaylen Brown MVP chants, Drew Carter and Mike Gorman that you kind of mentioned as well.
What a time for Drew Carter, man. Like,
dude, rookie of the year?
I mean, hey, I got to give, Drew Holiday's got to be Celtics Rookie of the Year, I guess, right?
Oh, sure.
But, I mean, like, to join up this year, I also realized, like, Mike Gorman's last year. They did it for Mike Gorman's last year. And they know, like, it wasn't quite this year for Bill Russell, right? It was, like, the year after, I think, was when they started putting the 6 on the jersey. Was that this year? I don't think it was this year. I think it was the year
before. It was the year he died, so I think it was last year.
Last year, right?
It's all a blur.
Still, it's all a blur of not being enough.
Champs.
Still close enough to win a title, that close to all of these things. It's so important, man. And like Mike Gorman, just I remembered, wore the Tommy shirt to Game 5. Like it's all the best.
So good. So a couple more clips here before we get to the parade drunk rankings. We've got Paul Pierce on the duck boat here, just like a little... course, Eddie House along with him living it up. I believe Scar was there as well. And then this clip is from Stone in our Discord server, which you should definitely join if you haven't got the hint already. This is of JB, a JB drive-by. To the fans showing love back.
Good, man.
Anything else before we get to the drunk rankings? I think there's a clear winner here, but we've got to do it anyway.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, drunk rankings. Let's open it up with this clip of Sam Hauser. If you're listening to the audio pod, that is Sam Hauser absolutely hurling into an esky. I don't know what the American equivalent is, like an ice box, a cooler. In the middle of the parade, clearly Wisconsin guy, a little too much cheese, a little too much beer. But look, he just evacuates the fluids and keeps on fist pumps immediately after the chunder. Good stuff. So I think he's up the top of the drunk rankings.
That's right. From Brandon, you got to boot and rally, man. Sam Hauser. Because we've talked about this a lot. Going back to the Eastern Conference Finals celebration where he shotgunned enough beers to get his shooting stroke back. Maybe, Sam, don't become an alcoholic now. Just because it worked once to get your shooting back, you're not going to become an 80% three-point shooter if you continue to get this drunk. But as someone who's a notorious boot and rally guy, like I'm always the first one to chunder. And I'm always back. You know, sometimes you go a little too quick, you get ahead of yourself. But as long as you come back strong, that's all that really matters. So I guess Hauser's kind of like my drinking spirit animal. I think I've realized at this point between the shotgunning the beer in the Eastern Conference Final celebration and this, I'm like, I identify strongly with old Sammy boy over here.
Brandon in the chat calling Sam Hauser basketball Wade Boggs, which is a legendary adornment of a nickname. I love that. Sam Hauser tops the drunk rankings, and this is just like what we saw. I would love, hopefully, with the documentaries coming out and player interviews and stuff like that, we get a little bit more insight. I will say Derek White did reveal. First of all, he has revealed himself as maybe one of the best drunks of all time because you can tell when he's saucy. You can tell when he's sauced up, but he just seems like an enhanced version of himself. I'm sure he's amazing at parties.
Dude. Yeah, man. Well, because we got the original when Jalen came out to a Colorado game in the summer for football, and Jalen was talking about, man, DY had me going early, day drinking for the college football tailgate. I'm like, okay, all right, DY. And throughout the post game celebrations after Game 5, he's just like Mr. Derek. He's just bipping and bopping. Please tell me you saw the new Sam Adams Derek White commercial.
Yes. Hell yes.
He's a national treasure, dude. I cannot wait for him to sign that extension. If I had to rank who I want to party with, I mean, Sam Hauser's definitely up there, but Derek White's got to be right there from everything we know now. Yeah,
I think it's Sam Hauser if you want like 2 to 3 hours of like hardcore. I'm going to drink as much as I can because I've got to go home early and work tomorrow. But if you want like a long night out, multiple venues, and you want to get in places and you want someone who's going to be able to like act cool and sober with you to get into multiple venues late into the night, Derek White, clearly the guy. He's identified himself as that person in all of our lives, which you love. So the parade, awesome. Drunk rankings, solid and wholesome. We're going to get to maybe the best version of the Schadenfreude Report we've ever had as we start to recount a lot of what the haters were saying and how they're feeling now after the Celtics have won the championship. But first, we've got to get to a live ad read before we get our shit together and do these ad reads before these pods. This is Jake with the PrizePicks ad read.
Come on down. Jake Eisenberg, PrizePicks.
Don't know how to throw to these things. Sorry.
Here we go. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. With the finals over, the hoops action doesn't stop on PrizePicks. Women's basketball is still heating up, with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese looking to make names for themselves alongside greats like Brianna Stewart and Aja Wilson. You could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. If you want to bet more on Peyton Pritchard buzzer beaters, that was not available, but you could go more on Derek White blocks throughout the playoffs, which is how I built my dominating lead in the PrizePicks first to floor competition. I made my first $10 deposit and received an instant $10 bonus. If you have the skills, you can play for a shot at turning your $10 into $1,000. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Dude, you set the bar high for my live ad read in about 30 minutes time. Let's get to the Schadenfreude Report.
Sarah, I cannot believe.
Jake, the haters are sick. The haters, I'm told, are absolutely sick. Can you lead us through what might be the greatest Schadenfreude Report of all time?
Oh, Ben. Ben. Where
Yes.
to begin? Everyone is so mad. Everyone is so upset that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics and Boston Celtics fans are happy and that we finally did it. I think the best way to kick this thing off is from the man himself, Jason Tatum, at today's pre-parade speech. We've got this for you here.
You guys been on a lot of trips to Miami, a lot of hard-fought trips to Miami. Was this one a little sweeter taking that trip down?
They always easy.
Say what?
I love it.
Dude.
I love it. This is how it works, dude. This is how it works. Miami, they're always easy. So that's obviously a lie. Like, it's a blatant lie. But here's the thing, Ben. What's the quote? History is written by the victors. Winston Churchill. It doesn't matter what happened, dude. No one knows what happened. All anyone knows is who won the war. History is written by the victors. And the Boston Celtics are your 2024 NBA championship winners. And the Miami Heat, all you're going to be remembered for, it was a speed bump, a blip on the way for the Boston Celtics to win an NBA championship. As Jimmy Butler tweets from the sidelines and does little photoshops and sells coffee and does his hair in different ways before every media day. It's very cute. It's very cool. It's very nice of you to help prepare us for this day. And no one's going to care, and no one cares.
Yeah,
what you were, or, yeah, go ahead.
Well, for Jimmy Butler, there's clearly, we know this now, non-title winning actions of his that he's undertaking throughout his career. And it goes back to the coffee and the hair and the self-memeing and the emo Jimmy Butler and all of that. Clearly things that do not lead to winning a title. And I think the Celtics, in Tatum's existence in the NBA, I want to say 8-4 in playoff road games in Miami. And that's, I think that gets even more favorable towards the Celtics if you exclude the bubble, like technical Miami home games in the bubble there as well. It gets even more Celtics friendly there. But
if you really want to do it, you can remove the 3 games where the Heat went up 3-0 and just start from when the Celtics come back. Oh, T Mackey's got it in the chat here. We're 12-3 in the last 15 games against Miami.
Amazing.
So I don't know. Maybe he's right.
The other takeaways from this are Tatum's awareness of it all, of our disdain for Heat fans, of Heat fans' disdain for us, of Heat fans' secret longing for Jason Tatum to join them. I think we saw last offseason Tatum in Miami walking past a Heat fan. They said, "Come to Miami," and he just completely shrugged them off. Also, there was a lot of talk from Heat fans about why the Celtics are coming to Miami for a day after winning the title to celebrate before going back home. The few answers to that: Miami is not a serious town. It's a ridiculous, silly fantasy party town where you
Correct.
go there to celebrate after doing serious things in serious cities like Boston. Also, I was told that I believe it was a Monday night where they won the
Correct.
championship. Again, serious town, people working, people living with a purpose. Nothing open on the Monday night. You've got to go to a silly Disney place like Miami
That's right.
to celebrate it on a Monday night.
Well, the Celtics were so good that they wrapped the series up in 5. If they had let the series go to 6, then Boston would have been open late for them. But yeah, they wrapped it up so quickly that they had to actually go down. And look, really what they went down there for was to show off Larry O.B.
Yes.
Because it's been what, over a decade now. It's been more than a decade since they last won a title. Can you imagine going a decade without a title? Not me, dude. Not me. Not this. Not the Boston Celtics. They would never do such a thing. It's been a while. So I think it was good for them, to go down there, Tatum and the boys, show off some of the hardware, show them a piece of history, just give them a taste, maybe inspire them to understand what it's like to be a real winner. So I think it was just more like a little bit of charity work. Get down there, do some good stuff for the people of Miami. And look, they were down there for a couple of days. They came back to the real city of champions in Boston. I got some other stuff. And while they were down here, Jason Tatum did repost this today. We had at the beach in Miami. Hang on. Ashley Nicole Moss, one of Heat Twitter's loudest voices, at the beach in Miami, and it's just the "Don't Stop Disbelieving" Tatum ad that is everywhere at the moment, and Jason Tatum reposted that, and that's just beautiful. And that same tweet, Emo Jimmy, another leader of Heat Twitter, "This is the worst fucking NBA season of my lifetime." Just beautiful. We've got Heat Reddit here. No way they have the money to keep Derek White with two $300 million players. And then you read below, it's like, yeah, dude, they do. Then they're going to do it. And then in the comments below, it's a picture of like the Monsters Inc. bed, I think, and like like a monster climbing up behind it, and then it's just Derek White's face pops up because Derek White has become the Heat boogeyman. And yeah, man, it's just you go through the fucking Heat subreddit, Reddit, one of the multiple posts about shut the fuck up about the Boston Celtics. I know they're our rivals and they beat us, but can we please stop talking about them? They're all celebrating and they're laughing at us anytime we talk about them, so please just fucking stop it. It is so amazing and beautiful. I love it so much.
Oh my God. Already the best Schadenfreude Report of all time, just with the Heat stuff alone. Dude, remember those like back-to-back lane penetration dunks Derek White got? I want to say in game 4 of round 1. Like, you forget about this stuff, but again, going back to what I was saying, what I'm enjoying, all the championship plays in hindsight, and Derek White just like dunking on Bam Adebayo on one of them and just like immediately getting back to the rim like 2 plays later, both on cuts and amazing Drew Holiday passes. You love to see it. And then all the haters completely shook on the Miami end. So good.
He dropped 38 points in Miami. On Miami. He had the game 6 tip in the year previous. Like, he has become a legitimate Heat killer, and they are now terrified that the Boston Celtics get to re-sign him for 4 more years. It's beautiful. I don't actually have any more on the Heat here. That's my Heat Schadenfreude, unless you've got anything else. But they're like at the top of my who I hate the most ranking. So I thought it was important to start off with them, and I thought it was quite fitting that was the team that the Celtics and Jason Tatum talk shit about at the parade.
I don't think I've got anything else on the Heat. No, I'm just scrolling through the excellent Schadenfreude channel on our Discord server. The link is in the description below if you're watching live or later on YouTube or listening on Spotify. But there's a lot of good stuff here, but nothing Heat specific. So
that's okay. I got plenty.
Yeah, let's do one more team, then we'll do another ad read, and then we'll finish up with a multitude of other teams.
All right. Well, this is the meat and potatoes. This is the meat and 3 vegetables. This is the main course.
Excellent.
I should say. It's a tricky one because the Philadelphia 76ers...
Oh, boy.
Like, I hate them. And there's just so much Schadenfreude. And, like, I don't feel bad at all. But, like, at some point, it's just like we just keep kicking the shit out of them over and over and over again. And this was the culmination of 7 years, 8 years, and really a historic owning of the Philadelphia 76ers. So I will play this clip. I think this is a good way to start it off here. The Rise to Ricky Sanchez podcast.
Great pod.
If you want some Schadenfreude, man, like that whole episode pretty much is absolutely beautiful. But we'll start it off here.
Celtics won the NBA championship, and they are champions.
That fucking sucks. That sucks. Awful timeline. So many bad things have happened, and this is the worst. We've done it. We've found the worst thing to have happened, because like obviously they've pantsed us so many times.
They've circled. They've lapped us in pantsing us.
Oh my god, dude! In so many ways, in so many embarrassing ways. Obviously, simply just beating us in the playoffs
Each time.
In
different ways each time.
In different ways,
Yep.
in various ways of pain and embarrassment. This will not be able to change forever. Awesome. And that is a little bit how I feel about the Celtics having won a championship before the Sixers in this era. No matter what happens.
Even if the Sixers win a title, the Celtics still won a title before the Sixers.
And like punked us for so long, for so many years, sustained success, sustained ownership of the Sixers, of this era of Sixers basketball, of the Embiid era of Sixers basketball. No matter what happens, they will always have this.
That's right.
Oh my god, dude.
We will always have this. And that, we'll get more into the Schadenfreude in a second, but that is why this title is so amazing. Because now we always have it, man. It's so hard to fucking win these. There's a reason why you look at like all the teams that have won titles. It's like the Lakers and the Celtics have 18 and 12 or 13. And then every team below that, like the most is like 7. Like the Heat have 3. Like they're so hard to win. And we have one for this era.
Mm-hmm. That is the definition of Schadenfreude. Them saying this is like the worst thing to ever happen in a timeline of terrible things that have happened, including like just the full encapsulation of the process and everything it's about, and then zooming in on all the little things that have happened throughout the quote unquote process for the Sixers. For them to say that this is the worst thing that's happened is like chef's kiss,
dude.
Maximum Schadenfreude. It's so good. We have a clip from a Celtics fan at the parade talking about Al Horford stealing money from other teams, obviously referring to the Sixers.
Oh, no. I mean, for Al to stick with this team, go get money, steal money from other teams, come back and win a chip with us, it means something special. He's like the heart of this team. And just for him.
Yeah, he stole money from the Sixers. Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
a little business trip for Al.
Just a quick little, insurgent mission, which we are going to get to more on that in a second. So I just want to lay out the timeline for the Sixers here, because it starts in 2013. They started the process when they traded away Drew Holiday. That was the beginning of the process. And then the next year, they draft Embiid 3rd overall. And because he's injured, they pick again at 3 overall. And I did not know this until in that Rise to Ricky Sanchez podcast, they mentioned this in passing. But Porzingis refused to be drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers, which I didn't even know. So this
Smart man.
He could smell the stench of losers a mile away. So yes. Porzingis refused to be drafted there. He refused to do a physical, refused to do a private workout, refused to do a face-to-face meeting. Nothing. He refused to engage with them at all. The Sixers draft Jahlil Okafor, who is now out of the league. The next year, they draft Ben Simmons over Jaylen Brown, and Brandon Ingram would have been a great pick for them at this point as well. Mm-hmm. The next year, they draft Markelle Fultz over Jason Tatum, and they give us an extra pick to do it. Ends up being Romeo Langford, which ends up helping us get Derek White. Thank you very much. Yeah. If they were not losers, they could have drafted Joel Embiid, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. That is an insane timeline to think about that was possible. Forget the Porzingis thing even. Embiid, Jaylen, and Jason was a very, very, very realistic timeline that exists somewhere in the universe, in an alternate universe that we will never have to experience because we live in the best timeline and they live in our best timeline, unfortunately for them. The Celtics beat the Sixers 3-0 in playoff series in this era. The Embiid is 3-12 in all playoff games against the Boston Celtics in his career. Oh, it's beautiful.
What would you say was the best Sixers year so far during the process years?
I believe it was it was almost this year, but no, not quite, because I didn't get out of the first round. It was it was the Jimmy Butler year where they lost to the Raptors in the second round, and in Game 7, Kawhi Leonard hit that shot in the corner that bounced on the rim like 4 or 5 times and then went in. I think that was the best year that they've had. So pretty, like, they almost beat the champs that year. That's the best year they've had, I think.
I think there are some Sixers fans out there making a case for that being the worst year, given they still lost in the second round despite having maybe their best roster ever, like since like the Moses Malone, Charles Barkley, Dr. J years. Still lost in the second round. I would put up like 2018 when it was. I don't know if it was Rookie of the Year Ben Simmons, might have been sophomore Ben Simmons, a young, quote-unquote, healthy Embiid. I think he had the mask that year after suffering an orbital fracture.
Correct.
But they took us, I want to say, to 5 or 6 games and 5 games, not even 6.
Not even 5. We went up 3-0.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We went up 3-0, dude, in
amazing.
that series. Like, it's insane how much we've owned them. Like, Like, you want to like compare net ratings and all, like they haven't been that far behind, but they just cannot win when it matters because they're like losers. It just is kind of the reality of it.
The Schadenfreude. The whole thing is dripping with Schadenfreude. Have you got anything else on the Sixers before we get to a quick ad read?
Absolutely. Don't worry. I'll get it. So Mike O'Connor writes for the Ricky Sanchez, and this is an excerpt from the article that he wrote about the Celtics winning the title. Watching my entire timeline extol the virtues of Al Horford, a guy who signed a 9-figure contract to play here and proceeded to completely dog it for 75% of the season while his family tweeted about how much they missed Boston, is mind-bendingly infuriating. He is, without question, my least favorite basketball player of all time. He deserves nothing, and I will continue to yell into the void about how the basketball terrorism he committed in Philadelphia until I am dead.
Amazing. If you have problems with Al Horford to that degree or any degree, then you have bigger problems in your life because Al Horford is the most wholesome dude we know.
It's incredible. And like off the back of that, it's like the Simpsons meme where it's Principal Skinner wondering if it's him or the children that are the problems. And he is the Sixers in this situation. Is it the long-standing culture of losing our ball-dominant center, our giant point guard who can't shoot? No. Al Horford is the problem.
That's so good, man.
It's awesome, dude.
Winning the championship in a vacuum is amazing. You add all this stuff, you add the Schadenfreude, life is good.
That's all I got though on the Sixers.
No, I mean that's so
all,
much. That is a meaty sandwich that we've just taken a ravenous bite from. I will say I think the most I've ever feared the Sixers in my life as a Celtics fan was Game 1 of the bubble, and Al Horford got a dunk on I can't remember who, and like Primal screamed into the camera, and I was like, oh no, they've got because I think Ben Simmons was out, but they still had Embiid and they still had Horford. And Horford did that to us, and I was like, oh no, like they've got a legit, like good winning play now. And Al Horford, he just did that. They went up early in the game, and he screamed into the camera. I was like, oh no, like Al Horford, the loss is going to come back to bite us. No, we swept them.
Nope.
We swept them in the bubble. But just the hilarity that Al Horford, of all players who have gone through that franchise in all this time, was the scariest. And of course, now he's back and a champion with the Boston Celtics. We're going to get to more Schadenfreude, I assume. But first, here's a quick word from our friends over at GameTime. First of the Floor is brought to you by GameTime. If I were lucky enough to be in Boston right now, I would be filling the void left by the end of the NBA season by getting into the Red Sox and the Major League Baseball. GameTime is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the GameTime app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Actually, the Red Sox play the Dodgers in Los Angeles on July 19th. That's only a 14-hour flight for us, Jake, from Sydney here. So talk about your favorite. We should get ourselves on that Sydney to LA flight ASAP and take advantage of all the great game time features, such as last-minute tickets, flash deals, and zone deals. Easy to find and buy MLB tickets or for every kind of event in our area. You can preview views from all the seats in the venues, plus they have a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, and more. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Almost a flawless ad read.
Great job.
What other Schadenfreude have you got for us, Jake?
So it's like Heat, Sixers, I think, are kind of at the top for me as far as teams I hate the most, Schadenfreude. And then I think it comes, like, you kind of have to go Lakers, I think, at next. And I think this video from the post-game celebration from friend of the podcast, Cedric Maxwell, sums it up perfectly.
I am so proud of what these guys accomplished today. And let me say this before I go. Bye-bye, Lakers. Bye-bye, Bakers. James Worthy. Good night. Magic. Bye-bye. Worthy. Cooper. Byron Scott. All of you. Bye.
It's so good.
It's amazing.
Had you seen that one yet?
No, never. That's the first time I've
sick.
seen that.
Yeah, dude. That one's awesome. So yeah, shout out Cedric Maxwell, friend of the podcast. Seeing him in all the like videos and stuff, and I'm like, dude, we fucking talked to that guy for an hour. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
And that's the Schadenfreude from like the Lakers perspective. We're up now. Even if you want to count the 17 titles or whatever, we're up now, and they are not going to be winning a title anytime soon. So like, it's just like, you know, we're back on top. We are now again the winningest franchise in the NBA. I got one other little bit, but if you want to you go ahead now. If you want to speak about the beautiful Cedric Maxwell.
Well, yeah, Cedric Maxwell, he just gets it, right? Friend of the show, Cedric Maxwell. He understands that the Schadenfreude is one of the juiciest, most rewarding aspects of winning. And he's done a lot of winning both as a player and as a radio guy for the Celtics as well. And I don't think about the Lakers a lot because they've been largely irrelevant outside the bubble for a long time, thankfully, in my like sort of close basketball watching lifetime. But, you know, the one time they do pop up into my mind is when they claim that they had, previous to this championship, as many titles as the Celtics. And now, regardless of how you slice it, we can rule that out. Max knows that better than anybody. So, again, dripping with Schadenfreude, Jake.
It's so good. He really does. I mean, we're playing sports here. Like, there's winners and losers, and you develop these rivalries. Like, you
absolutely.
Like this is how it works. And like a little piece of Schadenfreude that I didn't like think of until right now. It's like, yes, they won that bubble title, and we'll count it, whatever. But the cool thing is they didn't even get a parade out of it. Sucks for you guys. You literally won a title in the worst time to win a title. Like, no one even got to go to the games or like celebrate it.
They got a super spreader event out of it is what they got in the peak of the pandemic.
Oh, suckers. And then we got this one here. This is from the official NBA Twitter account. Was hilarious. 2 iconic franchises took home trophies this year. Los Angeles Lakers in-season tournament champions and the Boston Celtics NBA champions. Did Cedric Maxwell hack the mainframe of the NBA Twitter account to post that one, because that was just setting those boys up for failure there. I loved that. But yeah, no, this is just straightforward. We're better than the Lakers, and that's it. Simple.
Yeah, I don't think I can modify that statement. You put it perfectly, Jake.
So, okay, with the Bucks, this is an interest. Like, so friend of the show, Sam LaFrance. Quick look over on Bucks Reddit. Drew is carrying the Celtics to a championship. I feel sick. I mean, just beautiful. We love that. I have a question though. Like, are we kind of like friends with the Bucks now? Like, I feel like what's funny is the Bucks actually won the Schadenfreude award in the First of Floor awards this year. That was because like everybody kept telling us the Bucks were good. But hear me out. We both love Drew Holiday now. and this is like, we're still rivals, but slightly more friends. We now both get to laugh at the Heat and Sixers because from this era, we have titles. They hate the Heat as much as we do, really. Like, look,
yes.
Okay, I know in the chat, Aussie Field, no Jake, we aren't. What the fuck are you thinking? I'm just saying, they're way different to me as far as like how much I hate them at this point in my life. Like, I really was pissed off with them all year long, but now we've got the playoffs. They weren't there. We have a title as well. The Giannis title was actually like when I watched it, like I didn't hate them at the time. That was before the 2022 series between the Celtics and the Bucks when that rivalry really started. So like, I don't know. How do you feel about that? Like there's a lot more common ground than we had previously.
Yeah, I think it's friends in like they feel like right now such a non-threat that we feel like we can befriend them, because the thing that makes any fan base, any opposing team annoying is that they might get in our way or be a speed bump of some kind between us and the next title. And for the longest time, the Bucks felt like that. And I think this year, and especially in hindsight with Doc Rivers going on the Bill Simmons podcast and just blatantly, if he didn't throw enough blame pie out there, Jake, already, to just say Dame Lillard was completely out of shape. He told me he was out of shape. He was in the worst shape of his life. Like, I think that was evident as the season went on, but they became increasingly non-threatening despite them blowing us out on their home court. And there was some circumstances with the Celtics schedule leading into that, but I digress. They are such a non-threat that I think one feels like they can befriend them because they're not in our way, but I think they'll quickly find themselves back into that position. And so I'm wary of befriending them. As nice as I know Nate Marzion has been, and as graceful as they have been in defeat this season, like I am tempted. I understand where you're going, but I'm just wary of them finding their way back to being that annoying dickhead franchise that we know them as.
This is absolutely a in the moment. I feel like I don't care, dude. We got the title, but
we want friends. I get it.
Yeah,
we want to make
absolutely.
friends out here.
And this is a great point from Rivens in the chat here. So the Bucks no longer have a Mickey Mouse championship, which I was calling a lot throughout the season, and now, but like the Celtics also benefited slightly from injuries along the way. I will make a very clear delineation though: the Bucks would have lost that net series without those injuries. The Celtics did not play a team where they would have lost. Like the best team they played were the Mavs, and they smoked them. So like that's kind of the difference, is that they were never in an actual position where it was like, oh, they're down 2-0 in a series, and if Kyrie doesn't get hurt, then they're losing that series. So that's the difference. But I'm like, look, I might start making fun of your Mickey Mouse ring if you don't mention the Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Halliburton, Jimmy Butler thing. Then we can call it even.
Sure. That's fair. No, Bucks, they're at least like, we were talking about the Sixers before, they're at least like an organic franchise. Like I've often referred to Tyrese Maxey as the only organic acquisition that the Sixers have made in the process era. And the Bucks, like drafting Giannis, like huge gamble. At that time, drafting Giannis, midway through the draft and not knowing what he might become, and building their franchise through like clever, sneaky trades and like good draft picks. Like I respect them for that. Whereas with the Sixers, I have nothing but hate in my heart for them. I can see them crossing the bridge from enemies to friends in that sense. But I don't know. I'm feeling the Schadenfreude so much that I'm not ready to make friends in other places right now.
Absolutely, man. We own them as well. So that's beautiful. But we can move on. Got another one here. This is a bit of Nuggets Schadenfreude because part of what's been happening is everyone's just jealous, and so Swiper Cam, he's kind of the king of Nuggets Twitter. No Jimmy Butler, half of Donovan Mitchell, no Jared Allen, half of Tyrese Halliburton, limping Luka Doncic. Quotation marks, they're always easy. And then Richard White just coming in. Derek White's dad off the top rope, friend of the podcast. Yes. None of them had anything to do with a double-digit lead that Nuggets gave up to Minnesota in Game 7. Take care of your home before going to another. Just boom, dude. Derek White's dad is coming in off the top rope. Like, he had a caption about Jimmy Butler, like, holding the Larry O.B. Like, he just... And then he comes on the pod and he's such a chill guy.
Yeah.
But man, he lives for the Schadenfreude as well. I'm sure, Richard White, you're going to love this segment as much as anybody.
Yeah. First of all, how lucky are we that we have these characters these like snazzy, charismatic characters in our lives, like just the dad of a player who is ridiculously online in the best way possible at all times to just like jump down the throats of these haters from other team and give us the fuel we need for the Schadenfreude Report fire. But I see no lie in what Richard White is calling out there. Like and you mentioned it, Jake. Like they're just haters. And a pod that we'll do subsequent to this is the haters cheat sheet, where we essentially like lay out a document for everyone listening to the show, all Celtics fans, that you can refer to during arguments with haters like Swiper here, where you can say, well, no, like, here
it is.
There's a precedent. There we go. There's a precedent in every playoff run as far as like teams having luck and facing injured teams and getting to that final benchmark. There's nothing new here with the Celtics. That's just an example of the haters cheat sheet. But Richard White, off the top rafter there, or whatever the terminology is, jumping on the haters, pouncing on them, and giving them the facts. And that's what we like here at First of the Floor.
A couple of quick ones to end here. And then I've got a closing statement on the Schadenfreude Report. But where is it? New York, Tatum's ad is like smack bang in... I don't know if it's Times Square or not, but a monster billboard that don't stop disbelieving Jason Tatum, just a big Boston across his chest.
Yes.
And New Yorkers on Instagram. This is New York City. What a fucking embarrassment. And then tags the New York mayor. We love that. And then the last bit is just, look. So the Mavs, obviously we fucking beat them in the finals. So like, what else is there to really do? But
very good.
It looks like Luka Doncic is going to play in the Olympics. Injury? I don't know.
Or just the nation of Slovenia just need whatever and whoever they can get. We'll take you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor, and with injured clavicles or whatever the chest injury there is, we'll take them all, whatever we can take.
I guess. I don't know, man. If he's that injured, I guess he shouldn't be playing in the Olympics for Slovenia. So we'll see what happens. I'm just something I'm noticing on the side here. And closing remarks here. Like, there's been a lot of online. I've seen people from other teams and other fans being like, "Why are Celtics fans so like coming at all the other fans and being jerks or whatever?" It's like, you will not gaslight us. You will not gaslight us into forgetting what happened over the past 5 years. The Celtics can never win a title. You got to split up the Jays. Jaylen Brown can't go left. They're soft. They're chokers. Never going to win a title. We know what it was like all year long this year. They will not win a title. I don't believe in this team. And now, Mazzulla, he also sucks. Like every piece of this team, we will not believe in. And now we come out and say, all they've got left now, Ben, is, this wasn't an all-time team. Oh, I'm so sad. Tatum's corny. No. What am I going to do? No one even cares about this title outside of Boston. It's like, who cares, dude? I don't give two shits if the rest of the NBA gives a crap. I go onto YouTube. I just open up YouTube and my whole world is Boston Celtics. Every step I take is Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum has not taken a smile off his face since the buzzer went. He's buying shots for everybody in Boston at random bars. Jaylen Brown had the best year of his career, locked up Luka Doncic, won finals MVP, and just hard launched his girlfriend at the parade today, who's like the hottest WNBA star in the league. This guy is just winning, winning, man. Like, this is what I imagine heaven is like, and we're kind of living it, and we're going to throw it back in all of your faces.
Yes.
Suck it.
Yes, Jake. Yes. Yeah, you speak the truth and the gospel. And we were gaslit leading into the playoffs. Like, this team, have failed time and time again. And until they can prove it at the highest stage, they're never going to be taken seriously by NBA pundits. And then we beat the Heat. And it's like, well, the Heat were injured. Then we beat the Cavs. Cavs were injured. We beat the Pacers, and they have like an historic offense without Tyrese Halliburton. They were incredible and probably the best offense, and definitely the best offense we faced. Best team that we faced all playoffs. No, we're not gonna be taken seriously until you get it done against the best team in the West. Well, then the best team in the West comes rolling through with the best duo the best front court or back court, I should say, duo in the league, and we absolutely smoke them and shut them down, and they get over 100 points once in the entire series, and we politely gentlemen sweep them. Thank you very much. We go 5-5, 4-5 in the finals without Kristaps Porzingis for the most part. He was just like a gentleman in the gentleman sweep, right? He was just there. He was very well dressed in dapper suits. Really, the gentleman of the gentleman sweep. He was incredible in game one. But, a lot of people said we were not going to win in the finals against the best of the West without Kristaps. And he gave us maybe a 2-game head start, a 1.5 game head start. But we decisively got it done without him in the end. So the haters are sick. I just don't know what else they can say at this point, Jake.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, man. Yeah, dude. We even said, hey, we'll give you 1.5 games of Kristaps. And then we'll see if you can catch up.
Yeah, but, that's right.
And you couldn't, and it wasn't close. So banner 18, man.
It's so sweet. I don't know if I'll ever come down from this high. And we've got a lot of great shows coming up on this channel as we start to wrap up here. We're going to get into some draft stuff in a couple of days because we have to. And then a sane person might be like, well, start to wrap it up, start to move on. That was fun. They won. Absolutely not. We're going to be doing live pods from Las Vegas where we just recap our best moments of this championship season. We're going to be doing the honorary ring ceremony podcast and whatever else comes to mind, where we're all hanging out there in Vegas with some other folks from the Celtics media sphere as well. So really looking forward to that. Any closing thoughts, Jake, before we wrap up?
Hey, man, we're going to wake up to the Derek White extension soon, sometime in the next... Hopefully tomorrow, dude. Hopefully tomorrow is the day we wake up to the Derek White extension. That's what I'm waiting for. Malik Monk's got announced and Pascal Siakam's got announced. That's what... And then we got free agency starts on June 30th too, which is 8 days away. So... And to go through all of this with the title is so much more fun than if we would have not, obviously.
Yeah, and that applies to the entire next season as well, which I'm already looking forward to. But like I said, to begin the show, go back and watch all the regular season highlights because they hit totally different now that you know that they all lead to a title. That is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back here live on the First of the Floor YouTube channel on Sunday night to hand out our 2024 playoffs and finals awards. Then again on Monday night to dive into the upcoming NBA draft. Jake, this has been fun as always. Love your work, man. Until next time, go Celts.
I love